declare a non-sports person of the year, a moment of the year, a sports person of the year, and then just a person of the year as well. Is that cool? Does that work for you? Jessica, that work for you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good production
and
meeting.
Each of these will be an hour, so we'll get in after the show, 9:45, 10:45, knock them out Thursday and Friday.
Great.
And I am...
Excellent.
What are the show dates for next week?
I have no clue.
Because I'm out.
Okay.
All right. I'll be here Monday.
It's almost Christmas.
I'll be here Monday.
Can you believe it's almost Christmas and it's 60 degrees outside?
That snuck up on me
Real quick.
And the 60 degrees outside.
The only thing that made it feel like Christmas to me, truly, no joke, and I meant to send it to you because you weren't here Friday. Victoria Monet has an orchestral Christmas album out.
I heard. I hadn't heard it.
First thing that has put me in the Christmas spirit.
Okay.
And it did.
None of my Christmas hats and other gadgets.
No, that's just you.
Okay. All right. I think I'm Christmas AF, but whatever. What the hell ever.
Do we still say that?
I wanted to say the F word. I've got to get back into the rhythm. I've got to get back in the rhythm of doing a show.
You sure do.
Being out for a day running around Atlanta has me all discombobulated. So, yeah, what was the song today?
The song was a classic. It's my favorite Kesha song of all time. It's called Dinosaur. Can I sing it to you?
No, we're done singing songs.
You are a dinosaur, N-O-L-D-M-A-N. You're just an old man hitting on me, what? You need a CAT scan. She was ahead of her time, calling out all the creepy dudes in this world. Creeping on young women. Gross.
I mean, what is...
Man, why are you staring at me?
Oh, you got to say something. You can't just stare.
And my friends, it's kind of creepy.
Well, I mean, you got a Mac on them. How's he going to approach?
You should be prowling around the old folks' home. Leave us alone. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. December 16th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, we had 2 Grizzlies games this weekend. 1 win at home over the Nets on Friday. At least the Grizzlies won't get swept by the Nets this season. And then a loss last night to the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles. We'll get into all of that. The Memphis Tigers got a big quad 1 win at Clemson. Gary Parrish will join us about 40 minutes into today's show to discuss all that. Heisman Trophy Award went to Travis Hunter. Week 15 in the NFL. Bills Lions sure was fun. We'll get into the biggest storylines. We'll hit a little Hot Mess Express. We'll start the week off right. You know what we say. Fa la 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 la. It's the holiday season. I just said I got in the spirit.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic R&D-I-O. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Southland Casino Hotel is helping you navigate to Santa. Win your share of up to $340,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Here Comes Santa kicks off November 24th. Get 1 free entry and earn additional entries for weekly Saturday drawings. Don't forget the grand finale drawing on Saturday, December 21st to win up to $5,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Win big during Here Comes Santa, only at Southland Casino Hotel.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quoting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis. Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Hoop on the Grizzlies home court at Junior Grizzlies Game Day Clinics presented by Ortho South. Clinics are open to kids ages 6 to 14 and last 60 minutes. The next clinic tips off December 23rd, the same day the Grizzlies play the Clippers. All skill levels are welcome, from beginner to competitive athlete. Sign up now before spots sell out at grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. Registration includes a Junior Grizzlies t-shirt and 2 tickets to the game that day.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Another week ahead as we inch closer and closer to the end of 2024. Only 3 weeks left in this fine year that was.
Sonic Radio.
Certainly. How was Usher?
I saw Usher Raymond.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
He's out A-Town down.
I saw Usher in Atlanta. It was incredible. Do you want the full details of the story?
A quick one, because I think the people have a little game from last night that they'd love us to get into.
What, did the Grizzlies win or lose it?
They lost.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to take my time then. We don't.
No.
I'll tell
Give
you
us
what.
the spark notes.
How about this? How about to bring everybody, because I know how people, they're already in the chat.
They're here. They're ready. They're thirsty. They're chomping at the bit.
They're miserable. I'll tell you one good thing about my trip to Atlanta to see Usher in the Celebration Bowl.
Okay.
And then you tell me one thing about the game from last night, because I was traveling and I did not get to see it.
Oh,
so
I'm just going to tell you the whole thing.
I missed I missed both the games from the weekend. All right, so just tell me the whole thing, man.
Can you say one good thing?
Usher's incredible. Go.
Okay. Best song. Just say best song that he did.
Oh.
I'm so sorry for asking such a loaded, difficult question.
Because it's first, it's a medley, obviously, where it's just boom, boom. It does not stop. So there was that. I would say either Nice and Slow, You Got It Bad, or Lil Freak.
Nice. I wish we could just talk about Usher for the whole day. Honestly, I wished deeply from the depths of my soul that I could come in here this morning and start the week off with unabashed joy and unabashed glee, because we are just 10 days until Christmas. And over the weekend, the Memphis Tigers got a huge quad 1 win at Clemson at Little John Coliseum. We're talking quads. The quads are looking beefy for the Memphis Tigers this time of year. The Memphis Grizzlies, before last night, were winners of 10 of their last 11 games. On Friday, the NBA Twitter account put out an entire dissertation about just how great the Grizzlies offense has been this year. It was literally a small book on the Memphis Grizzlies in one tweet. It was so long, it made no sense to even send it for the show because we couldn't show it on one page. I had never seen so many words written about one team coming from the NBA Twitter account. And then the Grizzlies had their game against the Nets, which they won, which was extra spicy. It was oregano, it was garlic powder, it was onion powder, it was a little cumin. And we will eventually get into the happenings of Friday because, as you said, you did not have the opportunity to watch Grizzlies Nets, and the end of that game was crazy. And the fact that Dennis Schroeder, who got into it at the end with Ja Morant and Taylor Jenkins, and all three got technical fouls, and now Dennis Schroeder has been traded to the Golden State Warriors, who come to FedEx Forum on Thursday. That's all big, that's all good, that's all great. Naturally, it sets up a big game in Los Angeles last night. And when I tell you, CJ, the Memphis Grizzlies flew all the way across the country.
Who'd they play?
The Lakers.
Okay.
For one game. Really, we should be coming at the NBA this morning. What are we doing? What is the league doing about limiting this nation's carbon footprint? Because the Memphis Grizzlies flying from Memphis, Tennessee to Los Angeles, California for one game, a single game road trip, seems a little iffy to me. And it's more iffy because if you happen to have followed the Memphis Grizzlies for the last couple of years, you know that times have not been great when they have flown to Los Angeles to play the Lakers. And I was thinking to myself as I watched last night's first half, particularly, just how bad has it been for the Grizzlies when playing at either Staples Center or now not newly named, it's now been that way since like 2021, but Crypto.com Arena, the Crypt as they call it. And since 2019, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 2-12 against the Lakers in Los Angeles. 2-9 in the regular season, 0-3 in the playoffs. And the Grizzlies' 2 wins there, one of them came in 2022. And in that game, this feels notable, Anthony Davis did not play. And if you will remember, even this season when the Grizzlies beat the Lakers at home, they're now 1-2 against the Lakers this year. That one win came in a game where, say it with me, Anthony Davis did not play. And I am not going to go too hot one way or the other on last night's loss. I'm going to do what everybody hates in sports media, and that's be a little Goldilocks with it. Like, not too hot, not too cold. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the end of the world and last night's loss to the Lakers was an indictment on this roster as it is currently constructed, and how could this team talk all that smack coming out of the Nets game and then not show up against the Lakers. But I'm also not going to just slough it off as, you lose some games, you lose a rivalry game in the regular season. Like, this is a Lakers team that has been significantly struggling in comparison to a Grizzlies team that has been surging. And even though they came back, and I kept sitting there last night, or laying there more appropriately last night, because I did try to close my little eyes at halftime because it was so abysmal at that point after the Grizzlies had scored a mere 20 points in the first quarter and then followed that up with 26 points in the second quarter and had 12 turnovers in the first half and trailed by as many as 22. And I was like, all right, I got to try to get some sleep. I'll watch the second half of this game in the morning. But there was something inside me that just kept saying, what if they come back? What if they do this? I don't want to be asleep if the Grizzlies come back in Los Angeles, come back against Anthony Davis, who had a double-double in the first half. But they didn't, which is unfortunate. And the reason I can't just throw it away as a good try, good effort, they showed great heart, they showed tenacity in coming back and only losing that game by 6 points, is because it feels just a little bit like fool's gold in the specific matchup between the Grizzlies and the Lakers, because Anthony Davis does have 40 points and 16 rebounds in that game, and both of those, CJ, tied his season highs this year. But because you didn't watch, what you missed was that the Lakers were still up 20 points in this game with 5:30 to play in the third quarter, when there was a play where Zach Edey kind of came down a little bit on Anthony Davis's shoulder. And we'll talk about Zach Edey because if we're going to discuss, he's back and was, I'll call it, the biggest bright spot for the Grizzlies last night. Zach Edey, a double-double off the bench in his return. He was a plus 12. And the physicality at which he was able to throw into Anthony Davis is a wrinkle that I think can be utilized if and when the Grizzlies were to have to face this Lakers team.
Who started off
in
on
a postseason.
Davis?
It was Jaren and Brandon.
Both of them?
Off and on. It was, and the thing with Zach Edey, the whole purpose of getting a center like Zach Edey is to make Jaren Jackson Jr. be able to be who he is supposed to be, the best version of Jaren. Because what did you see? Jaren Jackson Jr. gets into foul trouble. Jaren Jackson Jr. ultimately fouls out of that game. But to go back to that specific time where Anthony Davis gets hurt and then he's diving for a loose ball with Jaren on the ground. He doesn't get up from it. He's grabbing his arm. He looks incredibly uncomfortable. And he leaves that game. And what happens when Anthony Davis leaves the game, CJ?
What?
The Grizzlies go on a 16-5 run. It's crazy how that works for this team. And you get the big three from Luke Kennard at the end of the third quarter, which makes it a 9-point game. A couple big shots from Jalen Wells in the start of the fourth quarter that keeps it in that 9-11 range. It's an 11-point game when Anthony Davis ultimately comes back in. It is 92-81 Lakers. And when Anthony Davis comes back in, it unfortunately feels all but inevitable that the Grizzlies are going to not be able to come back into this game. One, because at some point you were down 22 in a game and you have to play pretty close to perfect. And two, because you just see the impact of Anthony Davis and why he is the Rubik's Cube for this Grizzlies team to solve that they have not been able to do. It is not LeBron James when it comes to matching up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Even though LeBron was the big storyline last night, he missed 2 games going into last night. Let's start the rumor that LeBron James sat 2 games so that he could be fresh and ready to go against the Memphis Grizzlies. According to him, he's been having some foot problems. He, after their game against the Atlanta Hawks, saw a piece of the schedule where he could take some time to get better physically, to recharge mentally, comes out, and I literally LOL'd when he started the game with a dunk, a chase down block, and had this like super speed tip in transition off, I believe it was a Hachimura miss early in the game. And you're like, oh, well, I guess LeBron James is back. But defensively, what he put out for that team last night and just had the Lakers looking like a completely different team. But in the matchup with the Grizzlies, it's all Anthony Davis. It's always been Anthony Davis. And the way that he alters shots, alters decision-making. Ja Morant was 6 of 21 last night. Ja Morant had more turnovers than assists. We hardly ever see that. But not allowing Ja to go down the middle almost ever. J.J. Redick mentioned that multiple times as a strategy in their post-game remarks last night. Ja's 6 of 21. The Grizzlies as a team 11 of 31 in the paint in the first half. And even though it improves in the second half, it's just a little too late. Desmond Bane couldn't even find his shot. He only took 8. He had 7 points. And it's a tough thing. And when you're trying to think of potential opponents that the Grizzlies could face in a postseason that feels light years away, but will be here before we know it, this is a matchup that you don't necessarily want. And so the Anthony Davis of it all, the fact that we have now seen when the Grizzlies get slowed down by free throws, and I am not saying that the Grizzlies did not do their fair share of fouling last night. Oh no, we're doing it from the standpoint of Taylor Jenkins asked post-game what one of the biggest challenges is, and it's when both teams, when you're taking that many free throws, the Grizzlies are not able to get into transition. They're not able to get in their rhythm. When you talk about a team that had so many untimely turnovers last night, they ultimately had 21 turnovers and so rarely strung together consecutive successful possessions. And a piece of that is just the air getting sucked out of a game. And Anthony Davis, he's second in the league in getting to the free throw line. And a lot of times he's creating contact. And you're playing against the Lakers, who create a lot of contact and find their way to the free throw line often. That's something you have to play against. But that is something that we have seen be destructive for this Grizzlies offense that has been so great. Last night scoring 110 points. That was the first time in a long stretch of games that they don't reach the 115 mark. And it's not like they've just been playing sloughs. Like in the last 2 weeks, they've had the 9th ranked half-court offense. So this also isn't a matter of them just struggling significantly in the half-court. And it's not like they've just been playing the Wizards. That included the big win over the Celtics. That included the win over the Kings. You get a Nets team that now is going to start actively trying not to win games because they've been winning too many games, despite the fact that they don't want to win games this season. So that's why they make a move like trading Dennis Schroeder to the Golden State Warriors. But they will have to figure things out. And for last night, it just stunk to come out of a weekend where we could have been in here rah-rahing on a Monday morning. And instead it's like, all right, let's go start another win streak when the Warriors come to town on Thursday. And they do get another 3 nights off before they have to play that game. Do you feel like you missed anything?
No.
That really sums it up.
Okay. All right, Anthony Davis is really, really good in a matchup problem for this Grizzlies team. Check. Got it.
But you already knew that.
Got it.
I don't think that's any big surprise.
Got it. Probably don't want to be matched up with the Lakers in any round of the NBA playoffs. Check. Got it. Could potentially have the second seed and be looking at a potential matchup depending on how the play-in shakes out against the Los Angeles Lakers. Last 2 games of the season, probably want to set everybody to avoid that matchup. Like, has it gotten to that point? It sounds like it's gotten to that point where the Grizzlies just don't match up well with the Lakers, and it might be in their best interest to drop seed lines to avoid playing them, which, hey, it happens sometimes. I'm fine with it.
And there's a lot of season to be played for the Lakers, too, who, on their side of things, one win against the Grizzlies on a well-rested LeBron James, who did say, like, the foot thing is something that hurts him every day. We're all in our 30s. Not we're all, but, like, you and I, we're in our 30s. We're not LeBron James, but I have things that hurt me every day that if I was a professional basketball player, I would have been gone a long time ago.
My joints ached from the weekend so bad that I took a bath with tea because they were like, yeah, caffeine is good for the inflammation of your joints. You know how bad your joint. Also, I can't fit in the bathtub comfortably. So, like, my joints hurt so bad that I squished my fat ass in a bathtub with tea in it. And LeBron's just out here doing LeBron things.
My joints hurt all weekend. I was a little under the weather. I hurt from the top of my ear to the top of my toes. But the Lakers at this point are now 14-12 on the season. They're in 10th, and the Grizzlies are still in second in the Western Conference. So again, that's why I'm not going to come in here supercharged thinking the world is ending. They're still 18-9, and they do get a Warriors team coming in here on Thursday and another rivalry game. They get it on their home court, a place where they have been very successful this year, 12-3 at home so far. We will take a quick break. We are going to come back and talk about the other game from over the weekend, the Grizzlies-Nets game on Friday night, which had some extra levels of spiciness. We'll also talk about the Grizzlies role players who were really good in that game against the Nets, faded out a bit against the Lakers. Role players play better at home. Can they get that solved? We'll discuss. Gary Parrish also will join us in 2 segments to talk Tigers, Grizzlies, and more when we come back.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Look at that. We got the whole Grizzlies team just infiltrated our studio. Santi Aldama's in the house. Look at everybody. The whole Grizzlies team. Look at Zach Edey's in the house. John Morant's in the house. Say hello. Say hello.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies are just having fun out there tonight. Morant around a screen, bumped by Wagner. No look to Smart, lays it up on the window and in, and it is all Grizz. The Grizzlies have the fans on their feet at FedEx Forum.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Get the squad together for this year's Junior Grizzlies 3-on-3 tournament, presented by 2K at the Built Ford Tough practice facility inside FedEx Forum. On Saturday, January 4th, teams will compete in 3 games before advancing to single elimination play. Overall winners from the 10 and under, 12 and under, and 14 and under divisions will win Grizzlies tickets, including exclusive access to the pregame team shoot-around before the Grizz take on the Pelicans January 24th. Sign up today at hoopitup.com/Grizzlies.
I can't wait to see what your number 1. If that's your number 2.
Number 1 for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells, Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the Bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Welcome back. As mentioned, Zach Edey really was the biggest positive last night for the Grizzlies, the biggest. Literally, good to see the 7'4" big man back on the court for the Grizzlies. 13 points, 10 rebounds, a career high, 8 offensive rebounds. He will get better. You saw once again, the Lakers did this in the last matchup against the Grizzlies too, where down the stretch, they just put him in pick and rolls and go at him time and time again. Saw LeBron get a big timely 3 off of that. Anthony Davis open up in space a couple of times. I'd like to think he gets better at that. I know we mentioned it in the first segment, CJ, but it's the physicality of Zach Edey that I do think lends to him being really useful. Not just from how he battled with Anthony Davis. He gave Austin Reeves a little elbow to the face. We had blood stoppage last night. I had to put my glasses back on because I had my contacts out and I was listening to the game, and I put my glasses back on because I had to see what was up. And I like that from Zach Edey. Like, he gives a little extra ounce, and when you factor in that he should be back, he didn't start yesterday against the Lakers. You did see Taylor Jenkins roll with him and with Marcus Smart in the starting lineup coming out of the half. Everything had gone wrong in the first half, so just trying to go more defensively focused in that second half. I'll be curious who starts on Thursday against the Warriors.
How did Jalen Wells look?
Up and down. I think he's hit a bit of a...
He's bad against bigger perimeter players.
And we've talked about that.
That's against the Warriors. I'd be willing to bet he looks much, much better.
He did the last time.
If you're playing, and when we get to the postseason, what it'll become is, hey, it's a thing of matchups. We got to put guys out there on the court who've been here before and who match up well. If you're playing a team with a bigger, more physical perimeter player, if you plan on starting Jalen Wells, you can't put Jalen Wells on that guy. One, especially if that guy's the engine that drives the offense. And two, you probably want to have Jalen Wells coming off the bench. Jalen Wells on, I think, and I look forward to seeing what he does against the SGA. That could work. We've seen Jalen Wells on Tyrese Maxey work really, really well. We've seen Jalen Wells on Halliburton work really, really well. We've seen him on these quicker perimeter players, and he's incredible at keeping them in front of him and getting deflections and bothering the dribble and contesting shots. But on bigger dudes who just want to go in there and body him and push him around on the perimeter, he struggles to do that. So going back to the conversation earlier in the show about Anthony Davis being a matchup nightmare right now for the Grizzlies, I feel like LeBron is also it. But you can solve that LeBron thing by playing Marcus Smart and playing somebody bigger on him to start.
Also, some of this gets solved with Vince Williams Jr. and Gigi Jackson
when
back
Vince Williams Jr. comes, I don't know about
Not
Gigi.
for him, but just in terms of the entirety of the game, the makeup of this team.
Gotcha.
Gigi especially giving you another offensive option.
Was it, outside of the turnovers, was it a struggle to score?
Yes.
Okay.
and again, not getting a lot of transition opportunities. Everything just looked disjointed for this team last
Gigi
night.
gonna
Saw
help
a lot
a
of people
lot?
say, like, one night off in Los Angeles is forever undefeated. Multiple people are going to tweet that. And again, if you traveled all the way across the country for one game, maybe there was something to be done the night before. But they will have to turn back around. They did have the game on Friday against the Nets. And if we had left here on Friday morning and you had asked me to guess which game would be more, from an entertainment standpoint, exciting between a game against the 8th place in the Eastern Conference Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers, like 10 out of 10 times I'm assuming the Lakers, especially with past theatrics and drama between these two teams that has been building and building. And with the Nets, like, you think, sure, this is a team that beat the Grizzlies twice this season. They don't want to lose to them 3 times. You're coming off 4 days of rest. But I never really could have anticipated the level of animosity that we would see between the Grizzlies and the Nets on Friday night. And I refuse to call it a rivalry. Like, oh, never expected a Grizzlies-Nets rivalry. No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But you did see a sheer level of we're not losing to these guys 3 times in one season. And a lot of that came from the driving factor of Ja Morant, who was chirping back and forth with the Nets bench. I heard from people who were sitting down towards the Nets bench that there were many words coming from that side as well. And Ja was going back and forth. It kind of began to crescendo at the end of the first half where Ja hits a buzzer beater and comes back, and he's walking and he circles Nets head coach Jordy Fernandez, and he's saying, yeah. And he said after the game, both that and the end moments was just a little trolling, just trying to get him riled up. And it clearly continued to work. It was Ja, it was Santi Aldama, who we saw pissed off Santi Aldama, which is a different version. Santi's been really good this season, and it's tough because he did have a rough game last night in Los Angeles. 6 points on 1 of 8 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3, just 3 rebounds. He's been really good on the board, struggled last night. But against the Nets, especially in that third quarter, he gets called for an offensive foul that he took great offense with because it was not an offensive foul, and it did ultimately get overturned, but not before he could get teed up to his response to that offensive foul. After the game, Jaren Jackson Jr. was asked, like, what leads to an angry Santi? He blamed one too many espressos, which is funny because Santi Aldama had told the media prior to that, yeah, I actually had 5 cups of coffee yesterday, and it might have had some impact on how I approached getting angry within that game. But like spicy Spanish Santi, it was such a European moment. Like, that's why you want a European player on your team, because they have more passion sometimes than us Americans. They live life with a little extra flair. And we got that from Santi Aldama, who after that moment, so he gets called for the offensive foul, gets teed up. They wipe the offensive foul off, but still the technical foul stands, obviously. And then he comes back and he hits a jumper, he gets fouled on a 3, and then hits a 3 in like 60 seconds flat. Like, it was so quick. And it was such a testament to, like, the ability to, I don't want to say flip a game. That game was a weird game. I have never sat through a win this season where the Grizzlies were up, like, close to 20 points consistently, but it felt like they were only up 5. because we've seen this play out with the Nets 2 other times this season, and the Grizzlies were a heavy favorite going into that game, just like they were a heavy favorite the first and second time around against the Nets. But that run from Santi was huge, and then as they were able to ultimately get away with it or start to create some distance in the fourth quarter, finally, just, you know what? Yuki Kawamura was just trying to check into the game. Yuki just wanted the Yuki moments. The fans erupted. They didn't even have to chant for him. He was entering the game. Ja was checking out, and Ja on his way out, from what I understand, was very passionate himself as he left the game, said something to Jordi Fernandez. Dennis Schroeder gets mad. Dennis Schroeder starts popping off to Taylor Jenkins. Then they're all going at it. At some point, Taylor Jenkins gives a nice F that-ish. That got caught on a TikTok that I saw from somebody who was taping the whole thing from their courtside seats. And it was just a nice, big, dramatic moment from everyone involved. And Schroeder, Jenkins, and Ja all got teed up. I feel like Taylor Jenkins was searching for that second technical. He wanted to get ejected from that game at that point. He did not.
Dudes have been trying Taylor Jenkins this year.
Taylor Jenkins is an angry elf this holiday season.
Well, people have, was it the Jazz? I feel like Jazz players were purposefully bumping into Taylor Jenkins earlier this year. It led to them getting a technical. I don't know what Taylor Jenkins is doing on sidelines. I don't know why. And I'm watching the games. I'm here for most of them, right? It doesn't seem like he's doing anything egregious or egregious enough to be yelled at by a player, to be constantly bumped into by players. But I don't know what it is. Opposing players are trying Taylor Jenkins and recklessly speculating. That might be some of why Ja was yelling at really disrespectfully, by the way. That's disrespectful. Yelling at another coach, walking around him, staring him in the eye, yelling at him.
He was on psycho mode Friday.
That's disrespectful.
There were multiple times.
I think he's disrespectful trying to stand up for his, you're going to do that to my coach?
Sure.
Well, get ready. I'm going to do it to yours. There were times on Friday.
Multiple times Friday where you look down and when Ja gets that big smile on his face, when Ja starts laughing. Remember preseason when he said happy jaw as a scary jaw? It's not really happy jaw, it's maniacal jaw. And I'm sure happy jaw is a scary jaw because he's centered, everything's working well. But that maniacal version of him, and there's a lot of psycho energy on this Grizzlies team that can come out in a variety of players. Saw it with Santi in the third quarter. We've talked about it with Vince Williams Jr., talked about it a little bit with Zach Edey. That's within Jolly Giant Zach Edey too, but Ja has that within him. And yes, circling Jordi Fernandez was a wild move at the end of that first half. But I do think, this is just my opinion, and it's easy for me to say sitting here in front of the beautiful FedEx Forum, give me more of that. When we're talking about NBA ratings, I love that. I love the drama. Everyone's fine. Trae Young's rolling dice on the Knicks logo. Trae Young?
I thought you said Troy.
No, Trae. Troy is only Troy Bolton. That's the only Troy basketball player in my heart. But Trae Young rolls the dice, and everyone's that's great. Even the Knicks were we should have won the Jalen Brunson. We should have won the game. If we don't want him to roll the dice on our logo. I get that maybe circling an opposing head coach within the context of a game crosses some line, but I'd rather have that than the blah alternative. I love the extra spice. I love that it adds intrigue and drama and just gives extra energy. And unfortunately for the Grizzlies, I loved Jaren's quote after the game saying, this time around, a lot of stuff said now is coming from a place that's different because it's backed by real-ish. And then you turn around and lose to the Lakers on Sunday, so it makes that quote a little hollower, but I do feel some semblance of truth in that. This is still a team that has won 10 of its last 12 games. I'm not going to sit here and say the Grizzlies haven't earned a spot to proudly cement themselves as one of the best teams in the Western Conference right now. There is a lot of season to be played, and they've also been very vocal about not getting ahead of themselves and keeping the focus on the long term. Elliot Perry on the radio pregame show on Friday, I thought actually had a great metaphor, and he brought up the cheerleading blowhorns. I don't know what they're called, the tubes, that have the megaphones. Why can't I think of the name of a megaphone? A megaphone. And I thought he was going to use it from the standpoint of being the Grizzlies used to scream loudly into the megaphone, but that's not what he was going for. He was saying previously it was the Grizzlies had the megaphone backwards, and they would only look through the tiny little hole at the end and like couldn't see everything that it takes through a long season to chase a championship goal. But this time they flipped the megaphone around and they understand like there's a lot of space and a lot of things that happen before you can get to the small sliver of a chance at trying to win a championship. And I do think that sticks with this team. They will have an immediate chance to try to bounce back when the Warriors come on Thursday. If you don't have tickets for the Warriors game, like, what are you doing? Go to Ticketmaster.com, go to the Grizzlies box office, because if you thought that the Grizzlies-Warriors rivalry was already one of the most exciting that we currently have from the rivalry standpoint, the Warriors adding Dennis Schroeder after Dennis Schroeder's last moments as a Brooklyn Net, we're getting into it with Taylor Jenkins. Like, that is how he went out as a Net. And now the potential to be back here on Thursday with his new team, who happens to be a team where there is a lot of beef between the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Draymond Green, the last time they played, is out here getting into it with Taylor Jenkins again. And Taylor Jenkins stands up for his players. I did think Friday was a representation of, like, this is why those players ride for Taylor Jenkins so hard, because he rides for them. And that is a positive. But having the chance to see that play out this week is very exciting. And for the Warriors, I love them getting Dennis Schroeder. I mean, I hate it from a standpoint of, like, we're in Memphis. We're supposed to be anti-Warriors everything, but they desperately need somebody else who can handle the ball. Somebody who can handle the ball without turning it over, other than Steph Curry, and honestly, other than Draymond Green, because they've got nothing. Their offensive rating with Steph is like top 5, and without Steph is worse than the Wizards. Like, that's a big turnaround.
Should have kept Jordan Poole.
Did you see him this weekend? That's in our hot message.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh,
You sent it
just
in hot
you wait.
mess. I can't wait to see it.
Just you wait. All right, we got to get to Gary Parrish. He's going to join us. We'll talk about the Tigers' big win at Clemson, a quad 1 win, and have they already done enough to CJ just gave me the eyes. Clearly, things can still take a tumble, but a very nice turnaround for Penny Hardaway and the Tigers following their loss to Arkansas State, getting the win at Clemson. We'll talk to Gary about that, plus more on the Grizzlies when we come back.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number 2.
Number 1 for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells of Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the Bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning into HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on GrindCityMedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jared for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Hoop on the Grizzlies home court at Junior Grizzlies Game Day Clinics presented by Ortho South. Clinics are open to kids ages 6 to 14 and last 60 minutes. The next clinic tips off December 23rd, the same day the Grizzlies play the Clippers. All skill levels are welcome, from beginner to competitive athlete. Sign up now before spots sell out at grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. Registration includes a Junior Grizzlies t-shirt and 2 tickets to the game that day.
Imagine being able to do this when you're not even trying. Imagine saying, I'm not even trying to sing, but then you sing like Whitney Houston. Isn't that crazy? That's what Ja Morant does. He's not even trying to sing, but he sings like Whitney Houston or Luther Vandross or whoever it is you prefer. He's not even trying to dunk, and he's dunking like that.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Monday. That means it's time to catch up with Gary Parrish, host of the Gary Parrish Show, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on Grind City Media. Gary, how was your weekend?
How was my weekend? I just traveled, mostly. I sat in the studio and talked about basketball, and then I flew home. That was my whole weekend, pretty much.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Went to New York, sat in the studio, talked about basketball, flew home.
That's exactly what my weekend was.
Did you do a single thing in New York? I know you're a homebody in your New York life now, but was there anything that stood out and you're like, wow, I'm in New York this weekend?
Not really.
Okay.
I went to the CEO murder site. I mean, I was just walking.
No, you did not.
I swear to God, I did. I mean, it's like walking to Silky's from here. It's from my
close.
hotel. It's right there.
You didn't have to go out of your way.
I mean,
so you did go out of your way.
But like from here to Silky's, I walked out of my way for 75 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what would you expect to see if less than 2 weeks after the biggest story in the world happened right here at the spot? What would you expect to see if you approached that spot?
It's New York City, so I would say absolutely nothing.
It was absolutely nothing.
I have been in New York City. I believe I've said this before. Did the ball drop on a New Year's Eve. Flew out the next morning for the Fiesta Bowl in 2007, the Boise State-Oklahoma game. Between going to bed at like 12:30 and waking up for a 6 a.m. flight, so like around, probably headed to the airport around 3:30, took a nap.
Yeah.
It was like nothing had happened the night before.
I mean, I didn't expect the body to still be there.
Sure.
But I wondered, like...
They don't keep anything. They're better than Disneyland.
I just wondered, like, would there be a news truck there or people lingering or some folks with the cameras?
For like such a dirty city, they do a really good job of cleaning up big events.
I'm telling you, like, you just could walk right... It was as if you were walking down any street in New York, and it was as if that had never happened. It was just sort of, that was odd to me.
You think there would be flowers?
I didn't know what to expect.
You think there'd be a memorial?
No, so as I started thinking through it, as I recognized there's nothing going on here, and then I started thinking through it, I was like, well, what did I even expect? Like, what did I even think I would see? But if you ever, and I know these are different things, but if you ever walk by the Dakota Building in New York City,
it's true, there are still things for John Lennon.
You will never not see people standing outside there. The Lorraine Motel is similar in the sense that you can almost always.
Okay.
I'm just thinking where these famous things happen.
So Gary Parrish, I want to make it clear for the audience.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Gary Parrish is comparing the deceased United Healthcare CEO
much talked about murder sites. I'm comparing much talked about murder sites.
Okay, I got you.
I'm talking about much talked about murder sites, and there was nothing at this murder site. I don't know what I was expecting. I just noticed it.
Somebody said they were in New York, Gary, and they saw you, and this is in the chat. They said you dropped 3 more shells. It said Ken Palm, Q1 win, and Bill Self. Is that true?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I never engraved a bullet.
All right.
I've never engraved a bullet. I've never even touched a bullet, I don't think. You ever touched a bullet?
No.
Like
Yeah.
shells, yeah. Like the ones after
No.
they've been fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to find them.
Oh, just look on the ground.
Probably Walmart.
No, just look on the ground
I guess
as you walk
Walmart.
about.
Probably the Bass Pro Pyramid.
Yeah,
I can find some
they're
there.
probably not hard to find.
No, I notoriously have only fired a gun once. I
Mhm.
went duck hunting
Yeah.
with my husband's uncle.
Sure.
And the first time I shot, it ricocheted so far back I almost knocked all my teeth out.
Yeah.
And then I got a little better and I didn't hit a single duck,
Okay.
which, yay.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, that's more. Growing up in Mississippi, I think I'm maybe the only person who has never been hunting. I've never been hunting.
So strangely enough, growing up in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, of my friends, I was the only one of my friends who didn't grow up hunting.
Right.
Like a lot of my friends had families who hunted regularly. I just
never understood the
My dad
concept.
worked in sports.
I
My
ne-
mom was a flight attendant.
Yeah, I just never understood. Like I'm aware it must be something because so many people love to do it.
Right.
Even I have close friends who love to do it. So I'm not dismissive of it. I recognize there must be something to
yeah.
it, right? But man, I can't wrap my head around it. Like I was like, all right, what's the plan? If you want me to go hunting with you, tell me what the plan is. And they're like, well, we'll pick you up at 3. I was like, well, and then it's going to be cold.
Mm-hmm.
So like bundle up and then we'll sit in a tree. And then what are we going to do? We're going to be really quiet. It just didn't sound fun. Like it didn't sound any.
Yeah.
There's not a single part of that. Waking up early, being cold, being quiet, killing something. I just didn't have any interest in any aspect of it.
Well, instead you were in New York City,
Yeah.
going out of your way to see famous murder sites.
There was
and
nothing there. That's the point
most
I was
people
trying to
right
tell
now
you.
trying to go to crowded Bryant Park Winter Village,
Hey,
but
I-
Gary Parrish decided to
I will
walk
tell
on
you,
by.
I traced the whole walk. I know exactly how Luigi did this. I have a first-person account of how to turn up 6th Avenue and disappear into Central Park. I did this. I did exactly
Add
what
this
Luigi
to your
did.
Tourist.
All right, listen.
Blueprint.
I did everything except pulling the trigger. I did exactly.
Thank you for clarifying.
I did exactly
Thank
what
you so
Luigi
much
did,
for
except I did
clarifying.
not. I didn't possess a gun or pull the trigger.
Okay.
But I made the walk, and that was having made the walk, have now the first.
Do you feel different?
No, but it was a good plan. It was a proper plan. If your plan was to kill somebody and then get out of there,
There was a.
it's a good
There was a
plan.
route?
Yeah, like that. Once you turn up 6th Avenue, Central Park's just right there. You can see it. Once you make that turn, you can see it. It's a good plan.
All right.
I respect the plan.
Sounds like Penny Hardaway had a good game plan.
You
going
asked
into
if I did
Little
anything.
John
You're the one who
Coliseum.
asked.
I'm so sorry.
You asked.
Gary, you were
did you
in New
do
York this
anything
weekend.
in
Did
New
you do
York?
anything fun?
Went to a murder scene.
Actually, I walked to the murder scene. You know what? He had it planned out. Just
Went to a murder scene and I got some spicy chicken. It was a good day.
Was it good spicy chicken?
Yeah, I think all halal, a truck,
Yeah.
food truck.
Okay, cool.
Hey, the food truck.
All right.
I think all spicy chicken's good spicy chicken. I never had bad. You ever had
I
bad?
actually agree with that.
Yeah.
There's better spicy chicken than
Well,
some.
of course, but I don't think there's bad.
But I've never been like, I'm really disappointed that I chose to eat
I
spicy
have a
chicken.
similar opinion about pizzas. There are good pizzas and bad pizzas, but there's no. I mean, no, there's good pizzas and then there's pizzas that are better than good. I can
Sure.
rank them, but I don't think there's such thing as bad pizza unless it has ingredients you don't like.
Right. Or like sometimes you go too spicy on the chicken. Like I remember my first time at the original Hattie B's in Nashville.
That'll
I
get
was
you
like,
if you
I need
don't
hot
know what-
chicken.
if you don't know
I
what you're
love
doing.
hot chicken, and I got the one above the hot chicken.
Now you can't eat it.
And that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah,
in
no.
a variety of ways.
I think
throughout
a
the
lot of
day.
people have made that mistake at Hattie
Sure.
B's. I've made that mistake at Hattie B's.
Sure.
You think I love spicy chicken? Give it to me. Not that spicy.
No.
That's too spicy.
The Memphis Tigers
Huh?
beat Clemson this week.
I heard about that.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was a quad one win.
Yep.
They're 4th of the season.
And now they have 5.
And now 5th of the season. Is that
Because San Francisco beat Loyola Chicago yesterday on a neutral and went from, I believe, 52 in the net to 45 in the net. Once you move inside the top 50, this is where Memphis playing San Francisco in San Francisco, but not on campus. That's technically a neutral court game, 1 to 50 on a neutral court. That's a quad 1. So Memphis picked up a quad 1 win at Clemson on Saturday, and then at some point overnight, while we were sleeping, they picked up another quad 1.
I was too busy digesting the Grizzlies losing to the Lakers. I missed that the Tigers picked up another quad 1 win.
So they have 5 now. Auburn also has 5. That's tops in the nation.
Yeah.
Nobody else has more than 3.
Did you see San Francisco's tweet after beating Loyola Chicago?
They put a
They put crying Jordan on Sister Jean.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to lose her someday.
Yeah. Sooner than, I don't want to kill Sister Jean, but every time she pops up on my TV, I find myself saying, wow, Sister Jean's still alive.
Like,
That's great.
Earlier
Earlier in the season, it was a storyline because they didn't dap her up on their way out of the gym, and then they did a very sweet video where every single player from Loyola
had
Chicago
to go over and say
had to
what's
go
up.
over and be like, hi, Sister Jean.
It was like
Thanks
they were
so much for being here,
scolded by their
Sister
mother.
Jean.
You be
Yes.
nice to Sister Jean when you see Sister
Or like
Jean.
what I imagine it was to be in a nunnery when you were younger and like had to go say like, I'm so sorry, Sister Jean. My apologies, Sister Jean.
I wonder, and I've never asked, but I wonder, was Sister Jean always a thing, or did it become a thing in that Final Four run? And then it was like, now we have to pretend we have to pretend this woman matters to us.
She's 105. She matters.
I think they treated her like, oh, good luck charm.
Right.
And she was, I guess, 90-something when they made that first Final Four
I'm
run.
saying, like, when
And
Sister Jean was 78, were
wasn't a
basketball
thing.
players like in tune with her?
It wasn't a thing. I would be willing to bet it wasn't a thing. They gave her the credit for getting as far as they got. And then ever since then, she became like this lucky charm sort of thing. And so they rub her for good luck. Like they rubbed the Rock.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. And so you wonder if these players are like, so they had one good run, the history of the program. Now we got to go say hello to this woman every game.
That's how important that run was.
Yeah.
That's how improbable Loyola Chicago making it to a Final Four. I have a shirt with Sister Jean's face on it.
Wow.
So that's, that's impact right there. Anyway, the Memphis Tigers, 5.
They have 5 quad one wins.
Can you answer something for me?
I'll do my best.
I saw this notion of quad 1A versus quad 1B.
It's like
when did this start?
when people decided they wanted to try to make this complicated system even more complicated for people who don't live in it.
Why do we
it's
do
like
that?
it's a better quality of quadrant 1 because all quadrant 1 wins are not created equal, which I agree with, by the way, but it'll make your head hurt.
Think about just the Tigers, right? San Francisco win is not the same as the win against Clemson, right?
Well, of course not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's much more of an accomplishment to win at Clemson than it is to beat San Francisco in the middle of an empty Chase Center. But technically, those are both quadrant 1 wins. Yeah. So this has always been my complaint. Where it really gets goofy is in true road games, like a true road win over anybody in the top 175. Or in the top 75, rather, I believe. Let me double check myself. Counts as a quad 1 win. So like you just go right now to the team that's 75th that's Xavier. So let me find a team that doesn't sound as good as Xavier.
Okay.
Bradley. Today, you could play Auburn and beat them, and that would be a quadrant 1 win.
Right.
Or you could win at Bradley. And that would also be a quadrant 1 win.
But that would be a quad 1B win.
Yeah, but that's the source of like why do people think we need this? But like those two things aren't the same. But they both.
Can't wait for the college football playoff to institute their A, B, C system.
It's all there's a better. This is a decent way to do it. It's better than the way we used to do it. But we should improve on this and not by making it more complicated to follow.
Well, Memphis does beat Clemson in overtime, 87-82. A big bounce back win following a really bad loss to Arkansas State, which when you sat here last week, we discussed a lot of top 25 teams lost, but no one suffered a loss as bad as Memphis losing to Arkansas State. However, does it quell all of the badness of that loss to follow it up with this win over Clemson?
I think it's much easier to convince people that was really just one bad day when you've now had 5 good days, as long as we're calling good days that result in quadrant 1 victories. So
and I saw Arkansas State beat UAB yesterday.
After being down 27 in the second half, is like the largest come-from-behind victory in Division I basketball in 6 years. And so Arkansas State, right now, it's still going to be a quadrant 3 loss. It's probably going to stay quadrant 3. They got to really jump up, like maybe a significant number of spots in the net to ever flip that to a quadrant 2. So it'll probably always stay a quadrant 3. It'll always be a bad thing that happened to you. But I was very comfortable moving Memphis back into the top 25 and 1 just because at some point you've got to respect when literally the only team in the country that can match you win for win in the quadrant system is Auburn, and nobody else is is within one of you, then I can. There's no formula, but like these quadrant 1 wins are going to offset this quadrant 3 loss at some point, and you can respect the totality of the body of work. In most metrics, Memphis is still in the 30s. I moved them up to 21, but their strength of record right now, which is in the simple terms, a metric that just says, hey, when we look at all of everything you've done, we think this is the strongest in the country, and they rank that. Memphis is 7th in strength of record right now. And so it's, I don't want to say it's all good, because there's a scenario where you could be ranked number 1 in the country right now and undefeated, and it's not that far-fetched. It's like, don't lose at home to Arkansas State, and could you have gotten Auburn on a neutral court? Now, maybe we just find out or come to a realization you were never getting Auburn on a neutral court. That might be the best team in the country. But just don't lose to Arkansas State at home, and Memphis is comfortably in the top 10 right now. It's good. You just hope they don't give it back the way they gave it back last season. But there's some reasons to think that they won't.
For these last 3 non-conference games, Virginia and then 2 ranked ones against Mississippi State and Ole Miss, you get both of those at home, which should provide a fun environment at FedEx Forum. Hopefully the most fun environment for a Tigers game thus far this season. How important is it for them to go 3-0 in that stretch?
Not that.
Okay. Not critical.
No. I mean, you don't have to be perfect. And nobody else is, or I don't believe anybody else is going to be.
That's what Hannah Montana said.
And see?
She told me, nobody's perfect.
See?
I got to work it.
And now look.
Again and again until I get it right.
And now look at her. How's she doing? Pretty good?
She's doing pretty well.
I think she's doing pretty well.
I think she's nominated for a Golden Globe.
They had a moment where it was a little iffy with her, right?
Yeah.
But I think she's.
But again, nobody's perfect.
Nobody. That's what she tried to tell us.
She twerked with Rob Vick. And we said, no, that's not good.
But now look at her. She's doing okay, right?
ID.
Now she's doing fine, I think.
Dancing with Miley. I know way too many Miley Cyrus lyrics.
Certainly, if you're going to get them all out, this is one of those, we got a full 2 hours if you got any more Miley songs.
Well, you know what a full 2 hours means.
Oh, go ahead if you want to.
We got to take a break.
Oh, I love these.
We got to take a break, Gary.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you about the SEC.
Okay.
Because they're on a tear in the college basketball sphere.
Maybe the best tear of all time.
Maybe. And I'll ask you about the Grizzlies, too. Yeah. We went 1-1 over the weekend.
Ask me if I did anything neat in New York.
No, I'm not going to do that. I learned that lesson, but we'll get into the rest of it after a quick break.
Look at that. We got the whole Grizzlies team just infiltrated our studio. Santi Aldama's in the house. Look at everybody. The whole Grizzlies team. Look at Zach Edey's in the house. John Morant's in the house. Say hello. Say hello.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Imagine being able to do this when you're not even trying. Imagine saying, I'm not even trying to sing, but then you sing like Whitney Houston. Isn't that crazy? That's what John Morant does. He's not even trying to sing, but he sings like Whitney Houston or Luther Vandross or whoever it is you prefer. He's not even trying to dunk, and he's dunking like that.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them Tigers? Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com. Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Get the squad together for this year's Junior Grizzlies 3-on-3 tournament. Presented by 2K at the Built Ford Tough practice facility inside FedEx Forum. On Saturday, January 4th, teams will compete in 3 games before advancing to single elimination play. Overall winners from the 10 and under, 12 and under, and 14 and under divisions will win Grizzlies tickets, including exclusive access to the pregame team shoot-around before the Grizz take on the Pelicans January 24th. Sign up today at hoopitup.com/Grizzlies.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish is back for segment number 2. Woo-hoo. And you said it, not me. The SEC could be the greatest conference in college basketball history. And I mean for a season.
Yes.
Because they've been awesome thus far this year.
I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it's not hyperbolic. Like, we really might be watching right now the greatest season that any men's basketball conference has ever produced. Like, they went whatever and won in the SEC ACC challenge a few weeks ago, which was notable because those things don't tend to get that lopsided. And then just this past weekend, they go 13-1 on Saturday. Among the highlights, Tennessee goes to Illinois and wins. Auburn blows out Ohio State. Kentucky beats Louisville in a rivalry game. Florida blows out an Arizona State team that had played Gonzaga close inside the kennel. Texas A&M goes to Indianapolis, beats Purdue, in Purdue's home state. The only loss was a LSU loss to SMU. And so just some numbers for you now. The SEC has 12 top 40 KenPom teams, including the top 2 and 4 of the top 8, and nobody lower than 68th. There's nobody lower than 68th in the entire league. For some context, in 2011, the Big East, that's considered the best year ever for a conference in terms of sending teams to the NCAA tournament. They sent 11, and that was, again, in 2011. That league had 10 top 40 KenPom teams, only 1 of the top 8, and 4 teams outside of the top 70. The SEC right now, again, 12 top 40s, 4 of the top 8, 0 teams outside of the top 70. It is registering as a league that's going to get more than 11 teams in the tournament. It's going to set a record for NCAA tournament bids, and it is performing like the best conference, not only in the country right now, that's done, but like the best conference of all time. And I know somebody's listening now and then saying, okay, how did this happen? It's not hard to figure out. It's transfer waiver, transfer portal, NIL. SEC schools have lots of money and lots of boosters with lots of money and lots of boosters who care deeply about anything that's connected to these schools. And the SEC is spending more money in the transfer portal than any other league, and now they've got more great teams than anybody else.
Because even when you look at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, who Memphis will play, they're in the middle of the pack, technically, in the SEC, but they're both 9-1.
Oh, they
both just have 1 loss on the season.
No, they're both really good. They're both also spending money.
Yeah.
Like, I was down at Ole Miss last week. You go to that basketball facility, and you just pull into the parking lot. It's like, man, there are a lot of people making a lot of money.
You're rich.
Drive a lot of nice cars down here. And they don't hide from it at all. Like, your average Ole Miss basketball, people you couldn't even, and I don't mean you, but I mean just your random even sports fan couldn't name, is making hundreds of thousands of dollars right now playing college basketball in the SEC. And so Mississippi State's spending money, Ole Miss is spending money. And this is where it makes it easier because you could go to your boosters and your administration and say, well, if you want me to compete with John Calipari in Arkansas and Mark Pope in Kentucky, I've got to have the money. So you just keep pointing to the other people and what they're spending, and then that motivates your people, to come with.
Or exceed it.
Yeah, and it just starts feeding on top of each other. So let's say you're Buzz Williams at Texas A&M. you've got maybe $3 million in NIL, and you feel like that's a pretty good number. But now you're watching Alabama spend 7 or 8, and Kentucky spend 7 or 8, and Arkansas spend 7 or 8. So now it's very easy for you to go back to your people and say, if you want me to compete with these guys, I have to have another $3 or $4 or $5 million per year, and it doesn't guarantee that you'll get it. But in the SEC, more often than not, these guys are.
I'm old enough to remember when one of the arguments against paying players was, there's just not going to be the money for it.
Yeah, there's always the money for
there's
whatever.
There's not going to be the money.
Whatever. We're talking about wealthy people. Like,
and their passion projects.
The people in the people who argue that either didn't know what they were talking about or they were being intentionally insincere.
Sure.
And I think probably intentionally insincere more often than the latter. When you hear people who work in athletic departments say there's no money for that, they mean that when they look at their books, the money doesn't exist because they have 40 million associate athletic directors. They spend all the money. Your father could tell you this. The scam forever was, if we spend all the money, then we can say we don't have any money. And then when people say you should pay players, we can say, well, we're broke. So it's like if you had a budget.
In the red. How could we possibly?
Well, I'm just making
there?
up numbers here, but let's say you have a budget of $20 million. Well, then you spend all $20 million. Now your budget's $25 million. Well, just spend all 25. Well, now your budget's 35. Spend all 35. Just at the end of the fiscal year, you need to always be able to say, we don't have any money. What do you want us to do? Well, the problem with that argument is, beyond what I just explained, is that's just this thing. This booster money, this NIL collective money, that's just super rich people. Somebody's giving you $1 million a year. You go back to them and say, okay, I need that to be $4 million a year. Well, there are people, even connected to Memphis, who can say, okay, they can do that.
Yeah.
There are people you could pick up the phone. They don't want to do this, but you could pick up the phone and call somebody and say, I need $5 million by 5 p.m., and they can make that happen. So that's all that's happening, and particularly in Big Ten schools, SEC schools, Big 12 schools, they're just going to the super wealthy people who have always given $1 million, and now they're getting 3. Who've always given $500,000, and now they're getting $800,000.
I like to think that they're called and they actually have to sit down and look at their budget and say, you know, I was going to buy eggs this week.
No, yeah,
but instead I'm going to buy
never
my
that.
team a great
And that's the way they
player.
try to make you think about it. This is not about.
No, it's fun money.
It's we have $80 million in the sum fund. I was going to give $2 million to my alma mater, which would leave me with 78. But now I'll give 5.
Right, I was going to give 3 to charity XYZ. But you know what my favorite charity is? Watching my team win.
That's right.
And be competitive in the current college.
So you have
sports
super
landscape.
wealthy people donating more money to their school, and by school in this form, it's collectives, than ever. But it doesn't really impact their lifestyle at all. Trust me, they still got their nice house, down on 30A. All right, they've still got their private plane.
They all got that 30A house.
They all have the 30A house. Goals. That's when you know you've made it in the greater Memphis area, when you have a 30A house.
A jet and a 30A house.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Just
easy.
keep dreaming.
Hey, the Memphis Grizzlies lost to the Los Angeles Lakers
I wish they
last
wouldn't have
night.
done that.
Would have been a more fun Monday if they hadn't. Level of concern, given that...
Zero.
Yeah,
it's just a
absolute
game.
0.
It's just a game against a well-rested king.
God.
What are you supposed to do?
Just a game against a
It's a road game against a well-rested
healthy
king.
enough Anthony Davis to come back in.
If you told me you got to play a road game and Anthony Davis is going to get 40 and he's going to have a well-rested king right beside him, that's tough. I always like to wake up and just look around and be like, all right, where are we at now? Is Ja healthy? Yeah. Is Dez healthy? Kinda. Is Jaren healthy? Is Jaren healthy? Yes. Are you still alone in second in the West? Yes. Still top 4 record in the NBA? Yes. Despite having more players miss more games than anybody else in the NBA? Yep. All right, we're good. I'm fine. I'd rather be us than most.
I agree with that, mostly.
Yeah.
And I think any semblance of, oh my God, the sky is falling, fire up every trade machine imaginable and try to figure out, can this be fixed? There's not a whole lot to fix right now.
What are we trying to fix?
Like, it feels like a pretty fixed thing. And the Grizzlies, as I mentioned in the first segment, it was just a few days ago, the NBA wrote 5,000 words on how good they were on their Twitter account and how well their offense was performing. And could they be the first team ever? We're, 27 games into the season? And they're asking, could they be the first team to ever go from the worst scoring team like they were last season to the highest scoring team in the NBA? All that is good and great. I do think watching them continuously go into Los Angeles and struggle in that building, particularly against Anthony Davis, is a pattern. But if you avoid the Lakers in the postseason, it's a pattern that doesn't matter.
Right. They had a well-rested King. That can't be discounted. It's not fun losing to the Lakers.
Do you think LeBron James really just hurt his foot and said...
I don't know.
I know. I don't either.
I mean,
I don't think we ever will. That's the...
I read everything you can read.
Sure.
I mean, I did all the Twitter searches. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. I don't know. I don't know. But he was well rested last night and, performed. And
he is the king if he wants to take 2 games off.
Well, yeah, it's weird. It is weird. You don't normally hear somebody of his stature just disappears for a couple games for, quote, personal reasons, and you don't get an explanation. And then there's all these other, again, you can do your own Twitter searches, but it was weird. If we can all agree it's really fun to beat the Lakers, then the opposite also has to be true. It sucks to lose to the Lakers. So I get it. It's not a great pattern, but I don't think you go so far as to start manipulating where you're at in the standings to try to avoid them.
And you cannot say the Grizzlies don't beat good teams. They just beat the Celtics.
Yes,
in Boston.
Yeah, I'm not ready to just sit down and go, okay, we got a Lakers problem.
Yeah.
I know the Lakers have been a problem, but if you told me right now, 7-game series, Lakers, and the Grizz have home court advantage, all right, let's go. I know which side I'll pick.
Grizzlies at home.
And
they have a chance to bounce back immediately against the Golden State Warriors on Thursday.
Right.
Which provides, similar to losing to the Mavs, okay, you come back, you get a win over the Kings, you get a win over the Celtics. You can show that bounce back nature yet again. Perhaps you pull a Penny Hardaway and you throw out the tape on the Lakers game, just like he said he threw out the tape on the Arkansas State game, and you just turn the corner.
Yeah.
And you welcome in the Warriors.
I just don't, I don't feel like that's ever as important for an NBA team that is fairly established. The Grizzlies were second in the West one season, then second in the West another season, then everything went awful.
Awry.
And now, now they're healthy again and they're second in the West again. And that's a pretty large sample size of being good with the same.
Okay, within that sample size of being good, I'm curious because people are losing their minds over Desmond Bane at the moment, who had another bad game. Is there a point in the season where you're like, he doesn't have it yet? We haven't seen a game where he hits multiple big threes and looks like the Desmond Bane of old, where you grow concerned?
I'm only concerned in the sense that I'm assuming he's not completely comfortable.
Right, that's what it appears to be.
So at some point, if he continues to not be comfortable and he continues to not shoot the ball well, if he's not comfortable, then that is something that needs to be addressed. Hey, because these are all questions you end up asking in a more sophisticated way. But okay, are you comfortable enough? Are you comfortable completely? No. Are you comfortable enough to play? Yeah. Are you comfortable enough to play well with this discomfort? Maybe not. Okay, let's talk about it then. Because now, just because you're comfortable enough to play, if you're not comfortable enough to play well, then that's counterproductive for all of us. So perhaps that's the conversation that needs to be had at some point. But Desmond Bane has been labeled and regarded as a great elite shooter dating back to TCU. He's had bad stretches before. He's always popped out of it. He's not at the age where you got to start worrying about he's on the downside of anything. So I'm just assuming he's not comfortable, and eventually he will be. And if it really is just no, he's fine, he's just shooting poorly, well, then at every other point in his career where this has been a thing, he's come out of it fine. I'm not concerned.
Great, GP. Thanks for the perspective.
Look how positive I am.
Going to find murder sites and being positive on a Monday.
It was a pretty
what
good.
we like to see.
It was, if you were trying to disappear, it was into Central Park. A pretty good plan. Having walked.
I personally never try to disappear into Central Park. I try to do the opposite.
Yeah, you want to stay visible in Central Park.
Like don't go after dark has always been a thing because I like to walk.
Yeah.
And there have been many times where I've been trapped on the Upper East Side trying to get back to the Upper West Side on the easiest route. It's a quick little jaunt across Central Park. And I've had to been held back by friends and family. Like, don't you just
They tell me that's
find
more
transportation?
They tell me that's more of a daytime walk than a nighttime walk.
I love the reservoir. That's my spot. My favorite spot in the entire city.
I used to, because I'm not really outdoorsy,
Mm-hmm.
I would say things like, well, if they got a real estate problem in New York, I don't know why they wouldn't just like fill in the park.
What's wrong with you?
I didn't know any better. Because I just told you.
You hate nature.
I told you. But like, if you actually spend time in Central Park,
It's wonderful.
it's amazing.
Oh my
Like, I don't even
God.
like being outside, but I love being in Central Park. It's amazing.
I was there last spring and went with my mom. Our favorite spot is the reservoir.
Mhm.
And when I was younger, like I would run, she would walk. We spent a lot of time there. And so we went this past spring just to watch the sunset
Mhm.
over the reservoir. And coming out, there were so many people. It's a beautiful spring day, mid 60s, low 70s, and the number of people having picnics. There were
yeah.
dogs roaming around
It's just very
everywhere.
pretty.
People are on their nightly walks.
It's the best.
It's such an oasis
It makes
in the
you
middle
feel
of the
good.
city. Yeah, it's the weirdest reaction where you're like, I'm in this giant industrial city, one of the most happening cities in the world, and now I'm in a park.
And you can escape in this place.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And you wanted to kill it.
But I didn't know any better. Okay? I didn't know any better.
You sound like a CEO yourself. First you're gonna light flowers, now you're gonna kill a park.
I
Are
just
you a
did-
billionaire?
I'm not.
You're close.
No.
You're gonna get that 30A house. I hope we get a GCM party at the 30A house.
I'll invite you if
That'd
I
be
get
so
one.
nice.
If I get
Thanks,
one, I'll
GP.
invite you down.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we found out who won the Heisman over the weekend. It was Travis Hunter. I told you. I told you it'd be Travis Hunter. All the haters and losers. And I like Ashton Genty. Does it have to be that you hate Ashton Genty if you wanted Travis Hunter to win the Heisman? I don't think
Pick
so.
a side.
We'll talk
Pick
about
a
that.
side,
Week
Jess.
15 in the NFL.
304.
I always pick Boise State and the little guy. But this time I picked Travis Hunter, and I'll stand on that. Week 15 in the NFL was fun. Some good games to get through. Plus, my play of the week came from the Tennessee Titans, who absolutely stink. You know I love big men doing big men things. We'll get into it when we come back.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Southland Casino Hotel is helping you navigate to Santa. Win your share of up to $340,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Here Comes Santa kicks off November 24th. Get one free entry and earn additional entries for weekly Saturday drawings. Don't forget the grand finale drawing on Saturday, December 21st to win up to $5,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Win big during Here Comes Santa, only at Southland Casino Hotel.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quoting, call 800-522-4700. Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
There was a tweet from NBA G League that Cam Spencer was, quote, unconscious. Cam Spencer had 51 points on 75% shooting. The Grizzlies front office ability to find talent late in the draft continues to be a massive, massive positive for this team.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's gonna be crazy. The fans are gonna be loud. We need just energy.
Back to Jared for the flash.
We're gonna need, the form rocking. We're gonna need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the
Tigers. Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Nostalgic for hose water.
Water fresh from the water hose. Y'all know nothing about that. Just turn the hose on.
Are the kids not drinking out of hoses anymore?
Jacob and Kyra say they never drank out of the hose. My parents in the summertime would just drop us outside. Would pick us up out of bed and throw us outside and lock the doors. And we would drink water from the hose and we would pee on trees. It was a good life, a real good life. Ride your bike up and down the street,
run
some
through the
wheelies.
sprinklers.
Oh, we didn't have sprinklers.
Oh.
Yeah, no, there was none of that. It was just go outside and do what? I don't care. You'll do it outside. Figure it out. And we would just,
I just loved all outside water opportunities. Sprinklers, gutter water. Not drinking the gutter water, but just splashing in puddles made from the gutter water. I miss those good old days. Anyway, Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. Shocker. I am shocked. It was the closest.
Okay.
It was the closest Heisman race that we have had since 2009, when Mark Ingram beat out Toby Gerhart by 5 votes. 5 votes. Travis Hunter got 552 first place votes. Ashton Genty, 309 first place votes. So Travis Hunter is your 2024 Heisman Award winner. He did quote 6 foot, 7 foot by the great Lil Wayne in his acceptance speech. However, should we be concerned that Travis Hunter did not know who Lil Wayne was until his girlfriend, now fiance, turned him on to Lil Wayne? Who
the more I think about it,
yes.
No, he was 5 when the Carter 3 came out. It's towards the tail end. By the time he snaps to, let's say 10 or 11, he's like, okay, music time. Lil Wayne's done at that point, isn't he?
So, I would agree with that if I hadn't just had this experience. And I talked about this on Friday's show in mentoring this past week. So, I'm out at a middle school, 7th grade students. They were asked who their favorite artist is right now. And 2 of them said Lil Wayne. And they're in 7th grade.
Okay. I think that would be one of those things where if we went to like 94 and asked my class, hey, who are your favorite artists? I think there would be people who would say like Stevie Wonder or Prince, right?
Sure.
And we'd be like,
but I'm just saying that they still know them.
Who's Stevie Wonder and Prince? Like you might have heard the songs that your parents have played and not realized who that was. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I can understand how somebody who was 5 when this man's career reached a height that most artists don't even dream of ever reaching. It's like, yeah, no, I was unaware of Lil Wayne and his work. I get that.
I did realize, I watched the full hour Heisman Trophy ceremony. Why? I don't know. I love college football. I love the highlight packages. I love the interviews with families.
You do that every year? You watch the Heisman Trophy ceremony every year?
And every year I
start
say,
to finish?
how did this happen? How am I watching an hour broadcast where the award is not given until the last 10 minutes of it? But I do love, I love the storytelling of college football and what we do with it. And even with Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward, who are there, but by all means, this had turned into a 2-man race in the final portion of the season, and it felt all but certain that either Travis Hunter or Ashton Jeanty was going to win that award. But even learning things that I didn't know. I didn't know Ashton Jeanty was born in Italy. It could have been such a month for Italians between the whole Luigi situation. And then you get an Italian Heisman Award winner. Like, wow, that would have been something. But seeing the tape from Travis Hunter, the reminder of what Travis Hunter was this season, I've said it since not even midway through the year. Once Colorado started winning games, if they were to continue to win, and I know they didn't make it to the college football playoff, they come up short. They are still going bowling. What Deion Sanders has done in turning around a 1-11 Colorado team and now having a 9-win season this year and having a Heisman Trophy winner from that roster is pretty damn impressive. And Travis Hunter is just impressive. Like, I cannot get over how many true Travis Hunter haters there are in this world, and we experienced it a little bit. I'll say I experienced it a little bit in that we posted maybe a week ago on social media me saying in any other year Ashton Jeanty would run away with the Heisman Trophy, but he came up against a unicorn in Travis Hunter, and the responses from people are insane.
How much of that is they just hate women?
Well, that's a piece of it. Let's be clear.
Okay, so
that's a big piece of it.
Can we try this?
But it's not just that, because I've seen this spin off on others as well.
Keep the split screen up. Save your thoughts, and then I'll echo your thoughts, and we'll see. Luke, clip it, and we'll see if why?
Because it's just going to be the same thing. Because it's not just that I'm a woman, although I did get a lot of like, shut up, you're a woman. But it is a lot of people who hate Travis Hunter. And I do think it speaks deeper. It's people who hate Deion Sanders. The response to Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, the negative response to Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, is so wrapped up in people rooting for the failure of Deion Sanders as a head coach in college football, as the coach at Colorado, coming from Jackson State, going to Colorado. They want him to fail, and Travis Hunter winning the Heisman represents a big success, and they don't see validity in that because of their bias towards Coach Prime. I believe that. Because how you can watch Travis Hunter and not think that he was justified in winning the Heisman this year is astounding to me. And if you don't want to believe me, one of the best clips I saw from the weekend was Charles Woodson talking about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. And if you don't trust my words or other people's words, perhaps you will trust the words of a former Heisman winner himself, a Hall of Famer in Charles Woodson, who said, Travis Hunter, you are what the Heisman Trophy is all about. It's not about the best running back. It's not about the best wide receiver. It's not about the best quarterback. It's about the best player. And Travis Hunter was the most outstanding player in college football this year, period. And that does not take away from the outstanding season that Ashton Jeanty had and the fact that he was able to pretty emphatically get Boise State into the college football playoff, where Boise State would be without Ashton Jeanty, probably not continuing their season in the college football playoff and getting a bye at that. And that is incredibly impressive. But Travis Hunter was awesome. And anyone who wants to say that he wasn't is just goofy. Do you watch football? Do you love football? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Listen, man, it's the prime hate. It's the hate of the theatrics that come with Deion Sanders. That's a part of it, as well as also we don't know how to gauge like true football players, somebody who does a lot of different things on the football field. We like to focus on one position at a time on the field. And usually that position is the quarterback position. The reason Charles Woodson won that award when he won it was he was shutting down halves of the field. He was tremendous in special teams as well. And he had a couple of receptions for a couple hundred yards and some touchdowns. Whenever you needed a big play, he was on the field to make it for that 1997 Michigan Wolverines football team, right? And people were still mad, furious around these parts about Charles Woodson winning because they wanted Peyton to win, because so much of the focus was on, and still is on, the quarterback position. And here's what this quarterback was doing. So it's not like we've changed that thought process all that much from 1997 to now. I'm glad that it was between those two, and we didn't find a way to sneak one of these other dudes up in here because they were simply a quarterback. So I think that's a good thing. But think about what this award has devolved into the past 15 to 20 years, where it is quarterback, who gets the award. To see a Heisman Trophy ceremony where the two front runners were non-quarterbacks, that's really, really encouraging to me, and that's something that I really enjoy. And then for Travis Hunter to win it, there are a lot of people who deserve it this year. You can go up and down the top 10 and look outside of the top 10 and Heisman vote getters and say, oh, he deserves a Heisman Trophy. He deserved it, right? But nobody deserved it more than Travis Hunter.
We don't break the Heisman Trophy like they did the crown at the end of Mean Girls. We don't give everyone a little piece of the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah,
one person gets it.
And nor should we.
No.
It's Travis Hunter was the most deserving player. That doesn't mean that Ashton Jeanty didn't have an incredible season. Some of the plays that Cam Ward made were spectacular. Dylan Gabriel being just a flat-out winner.
Quarterback of the number one team in the country.
Daily for Army, the season that he had running the ball was really, really good. You talk about who's Signetti's boy down? Rourke. Indiana, I've never seen Indiana be good at football. Somebody from that team should have gotten an award, right? You could say they deserved an award.
Kurt Signetti got Coach of the Year.
Okay, so he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's kind of how this stuff goes. We can't give it to everybody. We got to give it to one, and the most deserving one was Travis Hunter. That does not take away from the special seasons that anybody else had, but Travis Hunter is probably going to be first-team All-American defensive back and second-team All-American wide receiver. He's going to be first-team All Big 12 wide receiver and first-team All Big 12 defensive back, right? Like that's just what it is. And for somebody to be able to do that, have that type of an impact from or on multiple positions, that's who the award is for. It's football. It's the best football player, like Mr. Woodson said. Not the best running back, not the best quarterback, not the best winner, not the guy who's most valuable to his team. The best football player this season was Travis Hunter.
I do think it's equal parts wild to me. Like, one, how good Ashton Jeanty is that you have this many people arguing for a Boise State running back to win the Heisman. Like, we don't find large groups of people, and he won the popular vote. Ashton Jeanty won the popular vote of the Heisman voting. That was the weirdest part of the ceremony. As Travis Hunter's up there accepting the Heisman Trophy, they talk about the popular vote, the vote of the fans going towards Ashton Jeanty. So it's equal parts, how good is Ashton Jeanty that people are rooting for a Boise State running back, but also how much people hate Deion Sanders that you have the country rooting for a Boise State running back. That just doesn't happen. If it was anyone else, the knock against Ashton Jeanty is people saying, he just plays in the Mountain West. I've watched it happen for years. When's the last time you saw a large portion of the college football fan base rallying around a group of 5 player
I'm not
for individual
sure
awards?
If it's just prime, though. Right? Like, I'm with you on
Sure.
that. The look was, I wonder if there is anybody else where that would be the case. Right, where if there was a Travis Hunter type player on their roster, we would just ignore it because we got a very, very strong, we as a collective sports viewing public have a very, very strong opinion on this coach. And I don't, we don't make coaches like Deion Sanders, right? We don't. Part of the reason people dislike him is because of how he got his start in coaching, and then the braggadocious nature that is Deion Sanders, how he's bigger than everywhere he goes because he is Deion Sanders, right? I'm not sure to your point, so I guess I agree with you.
You want to know who I wanted to win the Heisman in 2007?
Who?
Colt Brennan.
Why? 07, was that the Tebow year?
It was the Tebow year. And McFadden finished in second, and Colt Brennan finished in third.
Yeah, I think there's something about blackness here. If we had more time, we could explore, because the coaches that I'm thinking of where it would be a problem would be the darker skinned coaches, the more melanated college football coaches. This is a lot of layers to this.
It is. All right, we got to take a break. These 2-hour shows, they fly by on a Monday when we have so much to talk about. We will dip into a little bit of NFL Week 15 on the other side. That Bills-Lions game was awesome. We'll do some Hot Mess Express. We have a whole team opting out of a bowl game. We had Jordan Poole acting like a not serious hooper, and the Pop-Tart Bowls trophy is leaving all other trophies
Travis Hunter
in
was
the
first
dust.
team All-American on both sides of the ball?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Did you say he wasn't?
No, I said he was probably going to be second team
No, I think he was
receiver.
first team
He was
both.
first team on both?
I believe he was
Why are we
first team on
doing
both.
this?
AP Player of the Year.
You guys are idiots then. I don't know what to tell
The
you if you want
Litnikoff
somebody
winner.
else.
Bednarik winner.
He won both of the major awards.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You were out of town.
Yeah,
you
I
were
hadn't
totally
seen- I
zapped
hadn't
out.
seen
College
any of
Football
this.
Awards on Thursday. Oh, yeah, he got everything. He was everything. And yet, shouldn't have won the Heisman.
No, you're outside of your mind.
Stupid. And it's not just because I'm a woman. Someday I'll share all the nice things that have been said in the last few days. I'm trying to think of a creative way to go about it, CJ. You can help me.
Just throw him up. Just, hey, here.
That's what I think I'm
Here
gonna
are the
do.
tweets. Or here are the messages, the comments.
All right,
We call
well-
it comment section, JBS edition.
Beautiful. We'll take a break. We'll come back, wrap this all up on a Monday.
Look at that. We got the whole Grizzlies team just infiltrated our studio. Santi Aldama's in the house. Look at everybody. The whole Grizzlies team. Look at Zach Edey's in the house. John Morant's in the house. Say hello. Say hello.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Imagine being able to do this when you're not even trying. Imagine saying, I'm not even trying to sing, but then you sing like Whitney Houston. Isn't that crazy? That's what John Morant does. He's not even trying to sing, but he sings like Whitney Houston or Luther Vandross or whoever it is you prefer. He's not even trying to dunk, and he's dunking like that.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the
Tigers. Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number two.
Number one for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells, Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard
listened
it.
to the Bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning into HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Grizzlies are just having fun out there tonight. Morant around a screen, bumped by Wagner. No look to Smart, lays it up on the window and in, and it is all Grizz. The Grizzlies have the fans on their feet at FedEx Forum.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back. Wrapping things up on a Monday. NFL Week 15. Game of all of Sunday was Bills-Lions. We got ourselves scoragami, a score that has never happened before in the history of the sport, as the Bills win 48-42, the 1,090th unique final score in NFL history. 90 total points, CJ. 1,080 total yards, 12 touchdowns. Josh Allen throws for 430 and 4 touchdowns. Jared Goff, 507 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jim Nantz said the winner of this game would be America's team. Is America ready for the Buffalo Bills to be their team? Question mark?
I feel like the Buffalo Bills were close to America's team 5 straight years there in the 90s, and they let America down every single time. But, like, what's more American than letting Americans down?
Right.
So, yeah, I think the Bills are America's team. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to get close, and they're going to make America feel really bad for cheering for them. But that's what this nation is built off of.
Who can be this Scott Norwood? That's what it all comes back to. No, Josh Allen's been awesome. And I do love it where significant others of football players has been a hot topic of the weekend, looking at the Heisman Trophy winner that we just discussed and his fiance. But on the flip side of that, you have Josh Allen doing the opposite of the engagement curse, and so many women throughout the history of sports have been unfairly blamed for their men's mediocre behavior on the field, on the court, on the pitch, whatever it may be. But in the case of Josh Allen, he proposed to his beautiful girlfriend, Haley Steinfeld, 3 weeks ago. And all he has done since proposing is thrown for 852 yards and 6 touchdowns, rushed for 169 yards and 6 touchdowns, and had 0 turnovers. And 2 of those games were on the road, and 1 of them was in a blizzard at home in Buffalo. And shout out to the Lions football field for being in a dome, so weather had absolutely 0 effect on yesterday's great game. Josh Allen has been a monster. He's amazing this season.
MVP?
Yes.
Okay.
He's my MVP. Is he yours?
Not yet, no.
Yeah. There's still season to be played.
Saquon is still running around out there doing really impressive things. Looked great against the Steelers. I caught that game. Steelers are a really good team, really good defense, and he ran through them. He leads NFL in rushing. He's so dynamic out of the backfield. So it's one of those two. I think it's a two-horse race now. Allen is the odds-on favorite. I think he's minus money also. I'm depending on how the season goes, and I might do that today. I might run over and put something down on Saquon plus like 1,300 to win MVP. But it's those two. I think Lamar has lost too many big games in like prime time with everybody watching.
He was awesome yesterday, though.
Yes. Yes. But the moments matter, right? The stats matter, but when you got 4 or 5 players with incredible stats we've never seen, okay, can you give us moments when everybody's watching? What have you done? And
Not against the sad Giants.
Yeah. I think Lamar Jackson has dropped the ball one too many times in primetime games for him to be in the conversation with the other two.
I would love a Bills-Lions Super Bowl.
Why?
Just because it'd be fun. Although the Lions might have lost 2 more defensive starters for the season, which is less than ideal for them. A team that has a 90% chance of making the playoffs after this weekend would be the Denver Broncos. How about those Denver Broncos? Their defense stays elite, forced 5 turnovers. They have 2 legitimate Defensive Player of the Year candidates in Pat Surtain and then also Nick Bonito, who is turning in one of the best defensive seasons that we have seen as of late. He's second in the NFL in sacks. He had his second pick 6 of the year, and I learned that they call him Casa Bonito because all he does is take it to the house, which is also in reference to Casa Bonita, and that is one of the most perfect Denver sports nicknames I have ever heard. Anyway, he's awesome. Broncos get the big win. Also, players need to stop dropping the ball before they cross the plane of the end zone because Jonathan Taylor had a 41-yard touchdown, just wiped off the board yesterday for doing that, which was inexplicable and would have put the Colts up 2 touchdowns in that game and instead shifted things where the Broncos scored the next 24 points and kind of rolled away with the win late in the game. Favorite play of the day came courtesy of the Tennessee Titans, which you do not say often.
No, I've said it 5 or 6 times.
Funniest play of the day has come from the Tennessee Titans. And Will Levis had a few of those yesterday. He got benched. They brought in Mason Rudolph. Things were so bad.
How much longer?
Any strides that Will Levis seemed to have made in the middle of the season have been evaporated in the last 2 weeks.
What strides?
They were trying to talk about strides. Jacob was trying to tell us there was hope. It wasn't just him.
Jacob drinks the Mayo McNair mayo, right? That's
never
what he
drink
does.
mayo.
Well,
That's the lesson we can all learn in
Jacob's
this.
been doing it all since they drafted him. He's been on Will Levis being a competent quarterback.
The one thing I will always get excited about.
Will Levis's commercial?
No, a 366-pound man with a fumble recovery and one of the best stiff arms you'll see this season. Tavondra Sweat.
Boom.
This happened in real time.
Is that Mississippi State? Yeah,
Yes.
I think Sweat was at Mississippi State. Okay.
No,
it's
Texas.
Yeah.
He's
I'm getting
Texas.
my
Don't give the
sweats
credit
mixed
to the Bulldogs. He's a Texas guy. He's huge. He's a massive man. Like, all of those football players are so big. So when you have someone who stands out as that big, he gave his best Derrick Henry impression. I appreciate the stiff arm from Tavondra Sweat. But that was the only good thing for the Titans, except that they improved their draft lottery odds, which actually is the best thing you could get from the Tennessee Titans. Draft a quarterback.
Were the Titans on the list of teams Shador didn't want to play for? It's Browns, Giants.
I don't think they were.
Okay, go get Shador.
Get anyone.
Go get him.
Somebody. Anyone. All right, let's do a little Hot Mess Express before we get on out of here. This was the play we mentioned from Jordan Poole earlier. Jordan Poole just can't help himself. The Wizards are quite bad. The Wizards were playing the Celtics, one of the best teams in the NBA. The Wizards, one of the worst teams in the NBA. As you would expect, the Wizards were down double digits. But Jordan Poole got real excited about breaking Peyton Pritchard's ankles, which you can see here. Oh, and then he's going to point at him. And then the Wizards ultimately miss and lose by a lot. Do you have any problems with Jordan Poole on this Wizards team having that moment? You know what?
No.
I don't either.
It's not his fault.
You're going to lose anyway.
It's not his fault.
No.
It's the coach's fault. That's
the whole roster at its constructed's
that's
fault.
Whose fault it is. if you're allowing a player like this to do that and continue to play for you,
I just don't care.
Neither do they.
And that's the problem, I guess.
As a head coach in a franchise, y'all don't care. I've lost a ton of respect for the Washington Wizards based off of how they've done with Poole and Kuzma. Not that they're bad, but that they're bad doing this type of stuff. They're bad with Poole crossing the dude instead of finishing the play, pointing at him. They're bad with Jordan Poole. Was that last year? He's yelling at everybody, this my team, not paying attention in the huddle, and nobody wanted to step in there and say, hey, Jordan, you're not playing this game, and you're not going to play the rest of the week. Get your head right. Or we'll just sit you and you won't play. Right? Like, that's whose fault it is. If you're going to let bozos be bozos, that's on you. That's not on the bozos' fault. It's not.
I agree. We have seen a trophy go where no trophy has ever gone before, and it's unfortunate for all other trophies because they will have to figure out how to level up. We just got a dual threat Heisman trophy winner, and now we have a dual threat trophy with the Tarts Bowl trophy acting as a fully functional toaster. Pop-Tart partnered with GE Appliances to build this one-of-a-kind toaster trophy. It is about 1.3 times the size of a normal football and can toast full-sized Pop-Tarts. So you got to keep that sucker out of
Does
case.
it have to be plugged in?
I believe there's a plug.
So they've got a cord, or is it battery powered? Okay.
I think they have a cord. I don't know this.
It should be battery
Don't quote me on that. My bad. These days, can you have a battery-powered toaster?
We got electric cars.
I've never seen a battery-powered toaster.
We don't have electric toasters?
Every appliance that I have has a plug.
Yeah, but
my
you're
air
broke.
fryer has a
You're
plug.
broke.
My steamer
I'm
has
broke.
a plug.
We're broke.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Battery
we don't
powered
have, or
toaster.
electric toasters. Like ones that don't need to be plugged in.
Okay, it does appear that you could get a cordless toaster from Williams and Sonoma for $479.
Okay.
Which is far outside. My toaster, I don't know about you, I'm still using my toaster from college. It's pink from the Target collection.
Nice.
I have had that toaster since 2010.
I think my toaster is also from like 2010, 2011, and
Okay.
I got it at a garage sale. So it's probably way older than that. So I'm guessing my toaster
We're in
might
the same
be
toaster
from
tax
like
bracket.
mid-90s. Oh, if we had enough of a budget, we got to get sponsors so we can get a budget. We would buy one of these toasters just to make stuff in and see if it was any good.
We could have it right here.
Every show.
We could make a bagel.
Every show.
We could make Pop-Tarts.
Every show. Pop-Tart sponsor
Pop-Tarts.
us. And we'll use that sponsor money to buy a toaster, and we'll pop a Pop-Tart in the toaster every day.
I would
every
love a replica of the Pop-Tarts Bowl trophy. It doesn't have to be as glamorous as the Pop-Tarts
Well, you're
Bowl
not gonna
trophy.
be able to put a Pop-Tart in it if it's a replica.
If it's an exact replica, that's the whole point.
Okay.
It fits Pop-Tarts.
Okay. I didn't know how big it was going to be, and it feels like a lot of those parts are needed for the Pop-Tart for the trophy to be a toaster.
I
You
just
can give us a
continue to
replica
think-
trophy, and we can use the money to buy an electric Pop-Tart
The
toaster.
world should be operating as the Pop-Tarts Bowl does, which is innovatively, constantly, always pushing towards being better than the year before, when it was already great. They brought us the new flavor of the cinnamon roll swirl, and now they brought us a trophy that pops Pop-Tarts. Not pops Pop-Tarts, cooks Pop-Tarts, toast Pop-Tarts, whatever. All right, that'll do it for today's show. I was gonna talk about Marshall not playing in its bowl game. Whole team opted out of a bowl game. That's a new thing to deal with. Maybe we'll get to that in Oops, We Missed It Again, because bowl season is upon us. The Memphis Tigers will play in their bowl game tomorrow. 'Tis the season. It's time. We'll get into all that. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on a Monday. We'll see you then. Bye.